check real quick.
So yeah,
dude, you ever do DMT?
Yeah, dude, I fucking do so much
Fuck yeah,
DMT.
I love DMT.
But only
How
in
about those
tiny
fucking
amounts.
squirrels, dude?
I do enough
Like the
DMT to be able to
how about
free
those
up.
squirrels?
Dude, the fucking squirrels. Can you fucking
Oh my
imagine that shit?
fucking
They're
God.
so
Like, they
goddamn
eat nuts.
fat. Every single university has squirrels, and yet every single university's squirrels are somehow different from other universities' squirrels, which doesn't make much sense if you
I
think
remember
about it
this
because
story
they're all
about
squirrels.
Like some dude caught squirrels and put the colors on them. Then they all banded together into different colored factions and went to war. That just means like humans are meant to be at war. All the
just like the
fucking time.
squirrels.
It's to be eternal human nature is like squirrels. Squirrels are like chimpanzees, which are just like humans.
Yep, which is why also mutt breeds are inherently against nature and humanity. Humans need to be pure. So it simply doesn't work.
Okay, we are live.
Are we live? Can I still keep talking about mutts and human breeds?
Yeah.
All right, so this is Red Star Radio. We're coming to you live from Iran as we talk about different mutt breeds.
Well, no, we are coming to you live from that air base in Iraq. Yeah, look at us, two guys.
Yes.
Two guys in Iraq and an air base.
Two guys in Iraq and an air base. You know, it sure is peaceful out here. I sure hope nothing happens. If you can't see us, but if you were to be able to see what we see, whoa, what's that? Whoa, is that a bird? Is that a plane? Oh my god! Oh my god! Incoming! So we're okay.
I guess we're all right.
All right.
Never mind then.
Thank God they all missed.
Look at us, just two guys alive. Talking to you live from Iraq.
Oh, man. Who do you think shot those missiles?
I don't know. Maybe it was...
Maybe
Iran.
Maybe Iran? Oh, my God. But why would they do such a thing? It couldn't possibly be because of salami.
Well, because Iran is just an eternally evil country.
Mm-hmm. That evil Iran. You know, it's not like we overthrew or aided in the overthrowing of their country in 1975.
Not 1955, 58?
I mean,
Mossad.
Potatoes.
Yeah,
you know
whatever.
What I'm saying. But if you've noticed,
give me that oil, bitch.
The oil, money. Anyway, you might notice something different about us today. You might notice that our voices are exceptionally sexy sounding. And that is courtesy of our brand new mic system. Yep, that's right. We are now a professional podcast team. And it's all thanks to our following patrons, which I will now read out their names. Thank you to all our patrons.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now just sit back and listen to our seductive voices.
We've also decided that we will no longer be a political podcast. From now on, we shall be the ASMR. Now, I'm now going to take a sip from my drink. What a lovely drink. And now I'm going to take a drink from the bottle.
Energy drinks and vapes.
Welcome back to episode 7 of Red Star Radio. I hope you enjoy our new equipment. I know we most certainly do. But let's get right to it because we have got a Bernie phone banking event to go to right after this.
We do.
Yes, that is what we do in our spare time. We phone bank for Bernie. Remember to vote in 2020, guys, and in the primaries. Get out the vote. Anyway, let's get right into it. You want to start off, O'Neill?
Actually, can I hit up the JMO real quick?
Of
you
course.
Want to lead us off? Just
of course.
Talk amongst yourself?
Yeah, of course. No problem. I'll talk then. So in recent news, Iran fired a series of missiles in retaliation for the killing of Soleimani. No missiles actually struck any U.S. forces. However, they were fired at 2 U.S. air bases within Iraq, and they were fired from Iran. In my opinion, I believe that this was a deliberate. The missiles deliberately missed hitting their mark, and Iran was simply flexing their muscles. Guaido was also expelled from parliament and from his own party, and the video of him trying to climb the fence to get back into parliament gives me extreme pleasure.
Meanwhile, at the same time, Maduro was playing baseball games with, I think, some youth or some Venezuelan national team, and he was hitting homers out of the park while Guaido was struggling to climb a fence.
Yep, all like the illegal that he is. Mm-hmm. He was trying to climb fences,
and for some brutal, ruthless dictator, somehow he's perfectly fine walking around the country.
Oh yeah. You know,
campaigning for his own little U.S.-backed coup.
Yep. And Maduro just simply lets him exist.
Dictatorship.
Yeah, very, very lenient.
Moderate dictator.
You know, that the opposition coup president can simply openly walk around the country with no problem. It's really strange. And not only that, Bernie is now tied in Iowa in a three-way with Biden. So they're now... Good. Bernie is now tied in Iowa with Biden as well.
Really?
Yeah. Bernie as tied with... I'm just going to start that part over.
Okay.
Okay. In other news, Bernie is now tied in Iowa with Buttigieg and Biden, and he is now leading in New Hampshire. So the Democratic primary could now go to Bernie, and it's become so obvious how much support there is for him.
I think he's also leading in California.
Oh, he's definitely leading in California. But it's become so obvious the amount of support that he has that the mainstream media can no longer deny and block him without the risk of simply appearing as disingenuous. Mm-hmm. So, New York Times, the LA Times, The Sun, Daily News, all of them have started writing articles now saying Bernie Sanders could actually win the Democratic primary.
And the Democratic establishment is absolutely shitting their pants.
Oh, yeah. They are shitting their pants. Their golden boy?
Officer Harris, Kamala Harris, I think her campaign staffers are now putting all of their weight behind Biden in California.
Oh, they have
in order to try and get Biden up at top. And now there's reports coming out that apparently Russia is leaking secrets about Biden, trying to hamper his ability to win the primary.
Oh, and of course, Bernie is the one that's working with the Russians.
Well, of course, he's a communist.
Of course, he's the communist.
According to communists, he's a revisionist.
Yeah,
apparently.
Or according to liberals, he's a communist. According to communists, he's a liberal. Yeah. So
who the fuck
who is he? Well, I guess we'll never know. The only way to find out who he really is to elect him as president. So yeah, big
as long
exciting
as Agent
news.
Pete Booty Cheeks, CIA, doesn't get elected, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah,
I
think we'll be fine.
Grandpa Joe Biden.
Yeah, I actually got into a big Facebook fight with people over. There's a Buttigieg support page on Facebook, and they had this picture of him in full IOTV, which is this combat gear that has a chest protector, but it also has shoulder pads, a groin, and butt pads as well attached to it. And his picture of Buttigieg in his full IOTV posing with his rifle. And
no way.
The one thing that most civilians won't know is that anybody inside the military never wears the full body armor, simply because the actual shoulder and groin pads don't do much because they don't have Kevlar inside of it, and it doesn't stop bullets. And the simple fact of how heavy the added parts are means that only the most biggest of weenies actually wear it. So I commented that, called Buttigieg a weenie, and riled up the hornet's nest of supporters for him. So
the students repeat. Are you on that Facebook group?
Oh yeah.
Hey, I'm famous.
It's
right. So cringy.
Well, I have never actually met a real life Buttigieg supporter.
Neither have I.
Like I'm almost completely convinced that like
I-
all of his support is either they're all boomers, and they're all
Well,
like
I
internet
think
people.
his only support base is exclusively upper middle class white gay college students from Illinois. That's his only voter base.
Actually, he's not even
whatsoever.
from Illinois. He's from Nevada.
He's from Nevada, but he's the mayor in Illinois.
Yeah, he wasn't. He's not the mayor of Illinois. He's the mayor of a small town.
Oh no, in Indiana. I
In
think?
Indiana, not
some
Nevada.
some bumfuck Midwest shithole. I don't
Yeah,
know.
which some shitty city which has an 80% minority population who he basically screwed over with his housing projects.
Well, they're not Midwesterners. They're just
He's just a what? Say it.
what?
I want to hear you say it.
What?
What is he?
Oh, Mr. Booty Gay?
Yeah, what is he?
He's a class traitor.
Ooh, there we go. All right, so we're still testing out our new equipment. So if there's some audio
Yeah,
issues,
so our mics might peak sometimes.
yes,
But yeah, we're getting the hang of it.
at the very least, you're not going to hear that sound anymore because we have mic protectors now. So
Oh, yeah.
I can spit as much as I want into the mic, and none of it is going to hit the mic.
Stupid American.
I can't understand your accent.
How dare you spit on fence?
All right, so let's talk about some more then. You want to introduce us to the Guaido situation?
Yeah, so what I recollect and kind of what I found about it was that his fake parliament that he set up in opposition to the real Venezuelan parliament voted him in, but then the actual Venezuelan party has like two or three, like only a handful of members, not two or three, but
The
only-
fascist group.
Yeah, the fascist group, the fake Venezuelan parliament. But yeah, and then did he get kicked out of it?
Yeah,
he
so
got
they-
voted out of his own.
They kicked him
fake
out
parliament.
of his own party, and so he basically he's out of the government now. So he, in full view of everybody in public, tries to climb the fence,
It's so pathetic.
enter the National Assembly building, right? And as he's doing that, he gets pushed back by the guards, essentially, because he's not in the government anymore. And while he's doing that, he's basically saying in Spanish, like, let me in, I am the president, let me in.
Let me in.
Yeah, let me in. It's like the
Eric
Eric Andre meme. And while the guards are saying stuff like, Mr. Guaido, please calm down. You're creating a scene. This is an embarrassment. Yeah. So while that's going on, his members of his party basically try to form alliances and basically ingratiate themselves back into the system. Yeah. And then, but some hardline loyalists of Guaido still managed to get into the building. They basically forced their way in, and they started a fist fight with the actual government.
Really, there's a fist fight.
Yeah.
Damn.
So, absolutely insane. And now there's more protests in Venezuela as basically the loyalist party to Guaido is in the streets now. And they're not being shot by police.
Really, they're not being shot by police anymore.
No, they are not being shot by police. Can
Shit,
you
I guess
believe
Vice
that?
has nothing to report on anymore.
I know.
Falsify.
Hey, this is Vice News today.
Molly
World
Crabapple,
peace.
you're gonna have to come up with other lies.
Yeah, this is Vice News. World peace is now reigning across the world. We are going out of business. Somebody start a fight, please.
Somebody start a fucking war. We will help.
Well, if war is what you want, unfortunately, Vice, I've got more bad news for you. Because it looks like after Iran fired those 2 missiles, both countries now are backing down from the brink.
Well, now I saw on Twitter Trump's trying to start a color revolution in Iran. He actually posted a tweet in Farsi, surprisingly, saying, I'm paraphrasing this, but Iran, we are with you. The people of Iran, we love you. We want to help you oust your government and bring freedom and democracy.
love democracy.
Iranians.
We love freedom and
That
democracy.
joke about carpet bombing mosques before, that was a joke. We're not going to do any more war crimes.
The 52 cultural sites, I was joking about that.
The
Let me take a
sanctions,
joke.
like, you may be starving, but it's your government's fault. All they have to do is just sell us the oil, and then we will give you food.
Just give me your oil.
See, it's your fault for not selling your oil. If you sold us all of your oil, we would give you food, water, and take off all the sanctions, and you'd be all rich. Everyone who's not poor would be rich.
Just let Americans run your industries and everything would be great.
Just join us.
It will be a huge success.
Join the dark side.
But unfortunately, it looks like they all backed down.
But trending right now on Twitter is Iran protest 2020, because apparently all of Iran is out in the streets protesting their government's purposeful or deliberate shoot down of the Iranian flight 571.
The Ukrainian plane that was shot down?
Yeah, the Ukrainian plane that was shot down.
Yeah, I don't know. That's one of the
What's with Ukraine and planes?
I don't know. They just keep losing them mysteriously. Well, it is a bit confusing because at this point, nobody actually knows, I guess, except the Iranians, who actually shot down that plane.
Well, the Iranians admitted it a few days ago.
Oh, they did?
After 3 days, because originally they were like, no, it's impossible that our forces shot down the plane because there were other planes flying around, because they had no idea what was going on either. Because, I mean, a plane mysteriously goes down. It's not like Khamenei, like he's the one who ordered shoot down that plane. Like, there's hierarchy in the Iranian military. There's channels you have to go through to understand what's going on in the field. And immediately people were like, oh, Iran shot down this plane. It's a fact. We have sketchy Twitter footage. We have some MS Paint that someone drew on Twitter. And we know this is a fact that Iran shot down the plane. Meanwhile, Iran's still trying to just pick up the bodies from the ground, and everyone's just lambasting them for shooting down this plane.
Yeah, it's a complicated situation.
Trump is like, oh, well, look how evil the Iranian regime is. Look at these millions of people out in the streets protesting the Iranian government. Something needs to happen. Something needs to change in Iran. We need a revolution. But if you look at the live streams coming from Iran, because remember, Instagram isn't banned in Iran. So you can go on Instagram and talk to real Iranians and watch Iranian live streams.
Yep. Actually, although now those are all being blocked by Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Because now U.S. has stated that Iran is a rogue and terrorist nation. Anything from Iran must be lies.
Well, and to post and to have Iranian content or content that supports Iran on your platform is now in violation of U.S. sanctions. So it's not a violation of free speech. It's a violation of federal law to support Iran. So much for a bastion of free speech.
Oh, yeah. you can have vigorous, what's that Noam Chomsky quote, where basically you can have, in America, you can have, smoke weed. You can have free speech, very deep and vigorous free speech within a very narrow spectrum of allowed content.
As long as it aligns with the powers that be. And
as long as it falls within acceptable parameters.
Yeah, it's surprisingly like the only place where fruitful and healthy debate is happening is now on Weibo and Chinese servers. Weibo.
Yeah, Chinese Twitter, which has actually more people on it than regular Twitter.
And so now American ambassadors to China and Iranian ambassadors to China are having Twitter spats on Chinese Twitter.
Yep.
And ironically, their embassies are only like 20 feet apart. So it's this little proxy conflict happening in China where apparently the only place where you can have true free speech is in Shanghai.
I think that itself is just indicative of how America is being left behind by the world. The tighter America
Our empire
tries
is
to
in collapse.
Yeah, the tighter America tries to control the world, the more people will just go to alternatives. Sorry, but that's just how the free market works. America is a product that's just simply not very good anymore, and it's too expensive. So people are going for the better and cheaper alternatives. Remember, there is no brand loyalty under capitalism. Sorry, that's just how the market works.
That's the free market.
The free market.
Hey, America, bye.
Bye. Friendship with America ended. Now China is my new best friend.
Yeah, but back to the airline, or the airliner that went down. So on Instagram, like you could see these protests that the Iranians are at. It's just a small student movement in Tehran. Like there's maybe 1,000 people out in the streets. A small just barely anything compared to the amount of people that came out for Soleimani.
Yeah.
And the people who came out to support him and against
Literally
America.
1 million people
And
came out.
Still, most of those Iranians are all still, as they protest the Iranian government, they're still in solidarity against America.
Yep.
Regardless of what happens in Iran, the majority of Iranians are anti-imperialists, specifically anti-American imperialists.
Yep, exactly. You can be critical of some things and still support the state. Oh, shoot, I almost knocked over my mic.
Smash.
That would have been bad.
Yeah, but yeah, just all the propaganda that's come out in just the past week against Iran. It's this first wave of actual warfare. It's gray zone warfare where the conflict starts not on the fields, in the air, or on the bases, but in the minds of people and in the propaganda between empires.
The thought war.
The thought war.
Thoughts.
The war of the thoughts.
But have you actually noticed that ever since this Iran situation has started, nobody gives a shit about Uyghurs anymore?
Oh, yeah.
Nobody gives a shit about Hong Kong anymore.
No. And notice how that only became a problem in 2018.
Yep.
When the facts came out that China was going to surpass US GDP in this decade.
Yep.
It's like, oh, shit, I guess we got to start the conflict against China now.
Yep. Now that, And
then before that, it was Russia.
Now no one gives a shit about Russia anymore.
These primordial conflicts coming to fruition.
I think, the American imperialist thought machine is just throwing whatever...
An imperialist thought machine.
The thought machine. Be gone, thought. They're just throwing things at the wall and sees what sticks because they just need to cause conflict.
And they have enough resources for that because you can all of a sudden summon 50,000 Twitter bots to skew the public perception of any world power.
Yep.
It's so easy to put out propaganda.
Yeah.
Even state-backed journalists and think tanks like Bellingcat. Some of their propaganda that came out over the airliner, within one day, his name's Eliot Higgins, the leader of Bellingcat, which is a State Department funded think tank out of Britain. And what he runs is called open source intelligence. And so what that means is you just kind of aggregate a bunch of Twitter posts and a bunch of random dudes off Twitter to look on Google Maps to see we found out where that video was shot. Therefore, America is right and you're wrong. And so what he found was...
I always thought it was so weird that the plane gets shot down and then there's a convenient video footage of somebody filming the plane as it gets shot down. Well, first of all, when was the last time you filmed a plane in the air in nighttime? Who does that?
Well, it was about a few hours after the ballistic missiles were launched from Iran.
Yeah, but they were launched from Iran. But this was filmed in Iran.
They were expecting an American retaliation.
I guess you could argue that.
I mean, rationally, you would think that this is false, though, because basically what the evidence was that was supporting the Iranian shootdown was an unverified video taken off of Telegram, and the person who posted it to Twitter, adding Eliot Higgins and Bellingcat, deleted his account right after he posted it.
Yeah, so there's no way to find who that person is anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So you had all these little Twitter grifters kind of posting this video over and over again, adding the New York Times saying, look, this is evidence of the Iranian shootdown with no other facts to verify it. Then Eliot Higgins scribbles on Microsoft Paint some little arrows to say, oh, this is where the plane was going. This is where this video was shot because we used Google Maps to verify it. And it's just such a grainy footage. You could take any apartment complex and superimpose it over it and just say, oh, look, this was in Iran.
Or you know what's even easier nowadays with how powerful rendering programs are? You could just simulate it.
Exactly.
And create a 3D environment.
Someone did that. They just... used After Effects to superimpose extra missiles hitting the plane to go along with the 2 missile story from that people were putting out. Like 2 missiles hit the plane when it went down, and then people were like, "Oh, well, that's super hard to do. Of course, no one would do that." And then you can go on YouTube and look up
videos of footage of that,
or just tutorials on After Effects and get it done in 30 minutes. It's so easy to create deep fakes.
Yeah,
but then the New York Times posts or interviews Eliot Higgins and puts that story out of this is direct evidence of the Iranian shootdown of the Ukrainian airliner. And then, but there's no verifiable facts in that. It's just pure propaganda.
Yeah. And we always see this the same beats happen over and over again. Some official says, for example, in this case, Eliot Higgins claims that Iran shot down the plane. New York Times takes it, says official says that Iran shot down the plane. As it gets circulated, the official saying it part gets removed, and it simply becomes Iran shot down the planes.
And it becomes fact. And then you see this assembly line of propaganda from obscure Twitter posts to official taking that post and considering it as fact.
And then Twitter posts.
Professional journalists professional in quotation marks, circulating this propaganda, this unverified fact, as truth.
Yep.
And then as we circulate this truth, we create this simulacrum of truth.
Yep. If you repeat a lie, a big and bad enough of a lie enough times, it'll be accepted as truth.
You create a false reality that upholds the narrative of the ruling power, and you create this idea of an evil state. You create this idea of an evil totalitarian Iran, and you just drown out the truth in these not lies but alternative facts. Because when Trump's press person, I don't know who it was, he's been through like 6 now, right?
Yeah, 6 people at this point.
If it's not lies because it's taken as facts, so you just create an alternate reality.
You don't even need. You're not lying when for example, when you say we believe they did this, because you do. You could say that, or you could say sources claim that this happens, but as it gets recycled and rinsed through the information system,
they actually did this.
Yeah, it just simply becomes accepted.
It doesn't matter because for all intents and purposes, it becomes truth, and that's what people act on. Like in Kuwait, when that one think tank, that State Department funded think tank, put out stories of babies being pulled out of incubators. It didn't matter if that was true or not because that was the casus belli to invade Iraq the first time.
I thought the reason to invade Iraq was because of the weapons of mass destruction.
Well, no, this is 1991.
Oh, 1991.
I mean, George Bush even said it was literally to preserve our national security interest in the oil. But the actual casus belli that rallied people behind the war, because remember, it's modern day. You can't have another Vietnam. You can't have a war without public support.
Yep.
So in order to wage modern wars, you need to have the human domain secured. So that's this whole thing about gray zone warfare, is that you need the propaganda war to be won. And then you have the public support, and you have the entire empire behind you when you want to invade another country. So that's what happened with Iraq the first time. Mm-hmm. The second time almost, and now a third time we're going to invade Iraq. We're trying to win this propaganda war. And that's why it's so important for people to combat imperialist propaganda against the third world.
Exactly. So all the people who spend all their time posting on Twitter and Facebook, you're a soldier in the information war. You are the super
soldiers of the information war.
Yeah.
You're the first line of defense against imperialism. Mm-hmm. We need more memes.
More memes.
Yeah.
Although, you know what? I think the one thing that's different from 2002 when we invaded Afghanistan and Iraq and now is that back then we were so eager for war. We just wanted to destroy and kill.
Boner for war.
Yeah, we had a boner for war.
Yugoslavia wasn't enough. Killing white people wasn't enough. We had to take our wars elsewhere.
Exactly. But now we're so tired
like before that,
of
when
war.
was the last time we went to war with a brown country? 7 years? That's too long for America.
Yep. So yeah, I think now, though, we're so tired of war. We're so exhausted of it that I don't think that we could just conceivably convince people to actually go again.
No, but now we see that the only people you need to convince are the people already in power.
Yeah.
It's a rogue state that we're operating with now.
We're in an actual dictatorship at this point.
Mm-hmm. It might not seem like it overtly. We might seem like a democracy, but it's run off the rails. Even with Obama, I mean, we voted him as someone who was against Iraq, who was going to pull us out, and then he invaded half of Africa.
Yeah,
in a shadow war.
Oh man, well that's the best. That's the most effective dictatorship is the ones where people don't actually realize they're in a dictatorship.
Exactly.
If you grow up thinking that this is the most free country in the world, and you don't even see the chains that and the systems that bind you in place and stop you from to try to prevent you from having power, then you will grow up thinking this is the land of the free, right? This is the best country in the world. America is the best country of the world, full stop. And I have met so many people who think like that, that it's astounding. They have no clue what the rest of the world is like and how much better
and they feel
other people have it.
safe in that manufactured reality. They feel safe understanding that they do live in the best country in the world. They are safe here in America where no one can hurt them. Our soldiers are out protecting America, killing all the bad guys.
Yep.
And there's
Keeping
nothing
us
they
safe.
can do to hurt us. But in reality, that's not the case. We are the bad guys.
Yep.
You know?
And we have no concept of it because, one, most people don't even follow the news, right? And people say that proudly.
Well, and then if they do, they read the New York Times.
Yeah, but it's exactly like the conditions within Fahrenheit 451, right? Where people don't read.
Bradbury, God bless.
God bless you. I'm crossing my face right now. I don't know how to do.
just
I don't know how to.
stories?
I don't know how to do the Jesus thing. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna pretend
Chinese
it.
bastard.
I'm just gonna make a circle with
It's a
my
Catholic
face.
country.
Catholic. I thought this was a Protestant. I thought we were Mormons.
Oh, well, I don't know. The Pope fucks. You see that picture of him kissing the nun?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
After he kissed the nun's hand after he slapped her. So got to balance the scales.
After he slapped that one girl, yeah.
Yeah.
The Pope definitely fucks. That's what I'm
Oh yeah,
Catholic.
that's sexy Pope.
Yeah, so it's back on track.
Yeah, so it's just like, Fahrenheit 451 where people don't read anymore and the only media they consume is through television that is controlled and deliberately designed to destroy any of your ability to question the system.
Well, and the best thing about modern media is that it's absolutely passive. You just have to sit back and realize it as authentic, but you don't actually have to perceive or analyze it. It's just a purely passive absorption of knowledge and information.
Through osmosis.
The
And-
osmosis of propaganda.
Yeah. And even though we're getting so much information that we can't absorb it, right? There's just too much information being passed around now through Twitter, through the social media, through television, through all forms of media now that they could just drown out the truth.
Like you have to actually actively seek out and read the truth. And most people don't have enough time for that or even enough aptitude for that nowadays.
Or most people don't even realize that they're not hearing the truth.
Or even know where to look for it.
Except for you, all 50 of our viewers.
Yeah. You
Thank
guys
you.
know the truth.
This radio station is funded by your 1 cent profit generated
And
by
it
YouTube.
may or may not be funded totally or in part by the Russian government or the American government or the Chinese government.
Yeah, this is actually a spook operation by the CIA to round out dissidents.
Joke's on you. I'm Pete Booty Cheeks.
I am Pete Booty Cheeks.
No, I am Pete Booty
No,
Gay.
I am Pete Booty
I
Gay.
am the Pete.
I am the Pete.
Nobody. What is it? Nobody knew who I was until I put on the flag. You can take that two ways.
But yeah, no. So yeah, the information war is happening now. So find the truth, seek it out, think about what sort of biases people might have, because even we, your two all-knowing hosts, have biases.
Hosts.
We have biases too, right? So, which is why we might make mistakes sometimes. So you should take that into consideration when you listen to our content.
But the information war is the first step to actual war. And the way things are going now, with our empire in collapse, the United States reacting against the rest of the world, kind of joining forces with Russia and China and the East and drifting away. There's a chasm opening in the Atlantic between America and the European Union. And as these divides and empires grow, war looms ever closer on the horizon. So the information war is the first step to winning a real war.
And as the edges of the American empire begin to crumble, the American government and the American system will only try even ever harder to protect what assets they still have through increasingly brutal means.
And it may seem like an apocalyptic, dystopic arena that we are playing in, but it is a dystopic arena that we are playing in. We are in the age of technological fascism, and we must do everything in our power to combat that.
But just remember, the dawn is always just after the darkest of the night.
Exactly. So we're going to take a quick break here, and then we'll be back with some other things to talk about, I guess.
Yep.
If I ever needed anything to reinforce my convictions about the United States, that we are the only hope for freedom and democracy, it was that symbolic visit, that labor leader, into the mother of the fallen free. I'll never apologize for the United States of America. Ever. I don't care what the facts are. I will lead her. I will do my level best to stand up for freedom and democracy around the world by keeping the United States of America strong and by keeping our eyes wide open as we welcome change in the world by keeping our eyes wide open.
With all due respect, that's a bunch of malarkey.
Check.
All right, and we're back.
All right, so remember how I told you that the media generates consent through propaganda? Mm-hmm. And that believe in an earlier episode, we talked about how one of the first ways the media was trying to go after Bernie was by claiming that he was anti-Semitic.
Oh, yeah, I remember that a few weeks ago.
Yeah, so apparently the new thing that they're going for now is that Bernie, get this, is criticizing the other candidates.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So what I love about this is that all these this leaked campaign sort of script that phone bankers and door knockers were given apparently basically has them attacking fellow Democratic candidates such as Biden, Warren, and Buttigieg.
I wonder why anyone would do that.
Yeah, so the volunteers are told to say that Warren only attracts people who support her, and the only people who support Warren are highly educated, more affluent people who are going to show up and vote Democratic no matter what.
I mean, that's why she did it in Greenwich Village.
And that she's bringing no new bases into the Democratic Party. Mm-hmm. In terms of Biden, it claims that Biden doesn't really have any volunteers and that no one is excited about him, and that Trump would simply attack him on the Iraq war vote and his support of free trade. And finally, that Pete Buttigieg lacks support amongst African-American voters and young people. So what I like about this leak that happened is that it's just criticizing the other candidates for us.
Well, yeah, it's like those are the facts, though.
Yeah.
It's like
congratulations.
All Booty Cheeks has to say or do is just talk to one black person, and then Biden just has to get more than 12 old people at his rallies. Because on Twitter, I saw a photo of him at a rally speaking, and there were literally 12 people there, all of them older than 65, and it was not in an older than 65 community.
It's just sad. I mean, you can tell the attacks on Bernie just keep getting flimsier and flimsier and flimsier.
And his support keeps going up and up
and up. This train is not stopping.
I don't think he's another McGovern, because we actually have a real socialist base in the youth nowadays. Mm-hmm. McGovern was he was a liberal, but Bernie is a democratic socialist, a Luxembourg killer, but he is a socialist, and he calls himself a socialist.
This train just won't stop. Choo-choo.
So, but I thought electoralism was bad. Like, so why are we going to go out and support a candidate?
Well, it is bad
for voting.
Oh no, electoralism is the absolute worst. But that does not mean that we simply let the capitalists just run the government for a multitude of reasons. The main one being that if you don't engage in politics, how are you going to get your faces known? Mm-hmm. Right? What Bernie has done, even though he's not a communist, is that he has shifted the direction and the conversation towards socialist-leaning policies. And it's showing us and creating these divisions within the American system. And it's allowing us to have what I like to call points of leverage, contact points, where we can steer the conversation towards socialism and communism.
So what, do you want to be able to say, like, to people, well, look how far Bernie got. We want socialism in this country.
Not just that. Although, yes, we do want to say that. But even simpler, the idea that you need to engage within the system. not just to get your faces out there, but also simply to raise awareness.
So it's some like dual power kind of thing.
Exactly, like a dual power system. Even Lenin himself has said, while the Bolsheviks were rising to power, they were still participating within the local elections up until the days before, just before the October Revolution. So it's important that you remain within the system, because that's one that allows you to keep a pulse on what the American people are thinking. It allows you to frame the conversation to your topics, to your subject that you want to talk about and fight for. And it brings people up. It creates awareness and excitement and brings out that energy. And it denies the capitalists from simply running the government, the entire show.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that will decrease the suffering of the working class people is something that you should support.
Yeah, so you don't. Well, anyone that should support Bernie is not necessarily supporting the U.S. government. They're just supporting the gradual shift towards a more true socialist, I guess, way of ruling a government.
And I don't even support slowly. I don't think that Bernie Sanders will ever be able to reform the government into socialism. That's simply not how it works.
Yeah.
If this was a machine, the machine for socialism is simply non-compatible with the machine that we have for our government
So supporting
today.
Bernie's more throwing a wrench in the machine.
Exactly. It simply creates awareness for the situation.
Well, and it creates a stopgap for American politics where we can say, look at this rising power, look at this third party that's rising, look at all these youths that are socialists, and look at this gradual, not even gradual, but a massive shift to the left. And just say, why are you still supporting the old way?
Exactly.
And then look at these people who are still supporting the old way and holding us back. Look at these class traitors. Because that is now part of the regular narrative.
Exactly. And as this fight continues, things will only get crazier and crazier. The tensions will simply keep rising. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And you're seeing that with the Conservative
past 6
Party.
months.
You're seeing this with the Conservative Party today, where they simply become more and more radical to the right as the Democratic Party becomes,
I mean, now InfoWars is
more
like straight
split.
up quoting Julius Evola. It's not even a facade anymore.
Yeah. Prager U, just become, Prager Urine and all those other
Toilet Paper USA.
Yeah, Toilet Paper USA.
Kent State Poopy Pants.
Yeah, Kent State Poopy Pants. They're just simply becoming more and more radical.
I really hope she shows up at Wildwood because I'm going to go down there and try and film a few interviews. But if she goes down there, I want to hand her like toilet paper or a diaper on live stream too, because they might be down there live streaming.
Oh, hell yeah. Do it, man. Listen, we need to get our press badges ready for that.
Yeah, are you going to come down for that?
I'll see if I can, right? Because obviously I teach.
Yeah.
Actually, when is the rally? Where?
The 28th. It's on a Tuesday, though.
Yeah, what time does it start?
Gates open at 3. It starts at 7. But it'll be going all night. Wildwood only has like 40 cops on the off season, and maybe like 2,000 people living there.
Yeah,
it's a ghost town, so the only people there are going to be counter protesters and people going there for the Trump rally.
Yep.
But then also, I know one podcast I follow. Well, There's Your Problem. I know they said they were going to head out to Wildwood too because they're from Philly.
Okay.
And then also Philly Antifa. Remember when we went to that that riot in Philly in 2017?
Yeah. Good times.
And they like tore apart the cops.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be coming from Philly, and Philly is probably the most radical city on the East Coast.
All right. Well, we'll need to get into our full outfits, get our press badges ready and our cameras. Let's go out there and shoot some film.
Yeah, and we got the mics for the interviews, Yeah. Oh, what time is it?
6:20 now.
Yeah, 6:20.
It's getting late.
23.
How much time have we recorded in our podcast?
We're about 45 minutes. I think we might keep this a short one, though.
Yeah. We are running late for our phone banking event.
Yeah, so we got to go out and help phone bank for Bernie tonight and help organize, really. So, outside of the internet shit, we do shit in real life, too.
Yep,
so,
exactly. We are not... And
neither of us have Twitter profiles either, so Twitter can go fuck itself.
Yeah.
or the unmentionable website.
The unmentionables.
Yeah. The Zuckers.
The Zuckers. All right. Well, if there's nothing else we want to talk about today, I want to thank you for listening to...
Yeah. I don't know. There's definitely stuff we could talk about, but I mean, we got to get out and go do our thing.
Okay. Well, this is Red Star Radio. Thank you for listening. have a nice week.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. See you guys on the flip side. Maybe next time we'll be reporting live from Wildwood.
Stay radical.
Stay radical.
Bye.
They wanna die in a war. Die in a war.
Die in a war. I wanna die in a war. Just war, sure. I just want war. I'm just war, sure. I just want war. Let me die in a war, please. There's a really blatant untapped need for some purpose societally. Release pent-up feelings inside of me.
These are men with nothing to do. Why not give them a war to give their lives to? You can start a war with any country, and if that won't do, a civil war is plenty. I'm not prepared for martial combat, but maybe in a war a tank will roll me flat. Maybe I could be like Flat Stanley, except like fucking dead. Yeah, don't worry, this is just a joke. Who wants a war? I sure don't. I hate to develop camaraderie with a community that thinks like me, shares my values and morality, tells me who to kill and what it means. Oh shucks, then I'd have to kill and die for a cause that's far, far greater than mine. I'd much rather work my shitty 9 to 5, watch Netflix and play games with my time, get depressed and take it all out of my wife. I'm a real big fan of modern life. Race war, cyberspace, race war, proxy war, world war, class war, great war, guerrilla war, total war, religious war, cold war, hot war, nuke war, yeah sure.
I wanna die in a war. I wanna die in a war. Just let me die in a war.
It kind of sounds like you just want to die.
Yeah, please, I can't do it myself.